Now what we're going to look at is if that tissue is going to be injured, how does your body respond so that you can try to maintain homeostasis? So we're always trying to keep that balance in there. So first, you're going to have some sort of injury that's going to happen, whether it's going to be trauma or some sort of pathogen that's in there or some sort of disease that's causing this trauma to occur. So you have now exposure to pathogens and toxins. So anytime you open yourself to the outside environment's going to have nastiness out there. And so now it can potentially go into the living cells within your body. The epidermis on the outside, this epithelial tissue is all dead. So having germs on it is not a big deal unless you break the surface of it and then things start invading. So when your body notices that there is tissue damage, what they're going to do is their mast cells that we mentioned in our connective tissue proper, they're going to become activated. The mast cell activation is going to stimulate what we refer to as inflammation or inflammatory response. So that mast cell is going to do that because the mast cell will start secreting histamine. It will start secreting heparin and prostaglandins. All of these are going to trigger our inflammation. Now, inflammation is going to cause a number of different symptoms within your cells and tissues. That's because when you have histamine coming in, and we're going to focus on histamine for now, histamine is going to cause you to increase blood flow because it's going to cause your blood vessels to dilate or get larger. So the diameter of them get larger so you can increase blood flow to that area. At the same time, when you're going through vessel dilation, so that blood vessel is getting larger, it's also becoming more porous and permeable. So now more plasma than normal is going to flow outward from the blood vessel and it's going to accumulate within those tissues. So that's going to be causing swelling or edema within that tissue because the fluid that was contained in your blood vessels is now accumulating in the tissue surrounding those blood vessels. And then you're going to experience pain as well. You have some sort of tissue damage. Those neurons that are picking up that signal are going to be sending pain signals. Pain signals are good in terms of your body is trying to communicate with you. People don't like pain, but the pain is telling you that there is something wrong in that area, so you need to take note of that so you can maybe keep it still or take care of whatever the problem is. Increasing blood flow will cause an increased local temperature. What does that mean? It means that part of the body gets very warm. When you have more blood to that area, blood carries heat with it, so it's going to cause it to become more red in color and it's going to cause it to become very warm because of that blood. We want that blood to come to that area because we want the nutrients that your blood is going to provide. We want the oxygen that your cells are going to need to make lots of energy and create new cells. So it's very energy consuming in order to try to fix the problem. So we're trying to bring more nutrients and more oxygen in there. Bringing more blood to there is also going to bring more phagocytes to that area. Phagocytes are white blood cells that engulf pathogens or cellular debris to clean up the area. So we're bringing up the cleanup crew in to help with that injury. And at the same time, we're trying to remove the waste and toxins that are created. So we're going to have more circulation, so the toxins are going to be carried away from the site of injury, and we're going to bring them to the kidneys so that the kidneys can deactivate them. Once inflammation subsides, over next period of number of hours and the cleanup process keeps continuing, then you will start going through the regeneration phase. So regeneration is where you're trying to repair that tissue damage that was created by that injury. We will talk about this more in detail later on, but when the tissues are damaged, you generally have the fibroblasts that come in, and then they're going to start making more collagen, more matrix, more cells, and then you're going to create this scar tissue that has to be remodeled over time. So you lay down some tissue quickly, and then over time you try to make it more smooth and more cohesive with the rest of the tissues that are in there. So tissue injury, you need to know that you got exposure to pathogens. It activates your mast cells. Mast cells secrete these 3 different chemicals, which cause this increase in blood flow, permeability, and pain. Then we do that because we want all of these things to happen right in here. And then once it starts subsiding, we start going through the regeneration process. This brings us to our last slide for the chapter, and this is the slide where basically I refer to each chapter and section as getting old sucks. So the effect of aging that is going to have on your cells and tissues as we look through this different bullet points. So as you look through the bullet points, we see decrease, thinner, fragile, but increased bruising, accumulation of damage, decrease of regeneration. So all of these things are basically saying your cells and your tissues don't work as well as they used to. And it really depends specifically on what tissues you're looking at to see what types of cells. But in general, overall, everything decreases in terms of how it's going to work. The damage that you accumulate over time does have effects later on. So a little bit of damage is not a big deal, but later as you get older and that damage accumulates, your cells are no longer able to rebound like they used to. And so when we see that the tissue is going to start decreasing in its effectiveness, decreasing in its regeneration abilities, that's when you also see cancer rates increase. So if you look in the US, 1/4 of the population of the US is going to develop cancer at some point. Cancer is oftentimes linked to chemical exposure, environmental factors, or a combination of two of those. That's 70% of cancer. The other percentage of cancer is usually some sort of genetic factor to it that's going to happen. Or it could even be viral in nature that caused it. But of that chemical exposure, environmental factors, of that 70 to 80%, 40% of that is caused by cigarette smoke. So cigarette smoke has very long-lasting problems and issues with how our tissues are able to function, how our cells are going to be able to regenerate, because all that smoke kills and damages your cells, so you're not able to regenerate it. And again, we're looking at an accumulation of damage. So the longer that someone is smoking, the more and more damage is going to accumulate, and the less effective it is going to be able to regenerate later on. So again, this is the fact of life. As you get older, things start working less well throughout your body, and it's just the nature of how cells and tissues work.